Greetings, gardeners. I'm standing here in the midst of my dragon fruit because I am about to begin to prune the graptophyllum shrubs right behind them here and use it as stick mulch around the roots of the dragon fruit. I planted the graptophyllums here to use as partial shade, natural shade for these cacti, because they really seem to like a little bit of shading when they're off the fruiting cycle. Right now, though, they are blooming and producing fruit, and so I want to bring as much sunlight as possible into them, and I'm going to cut these shrubs down and allow them to regrow back again later. The trimmings will be used as compost for my plants. Well, south wind, it's warm, a little humid here today, that's for sure. So that was a good workout, getting the shrubs pruned. Let's take a look at my stick mulch. So right here is all the stuff that I pruned off from my shrubs, piled nicely around the bottom of the dragon fruits. I added a little bit of fertilizer while I was at it. Things are doing pretty well out here. The shrubs are looking like that after I got done pruning on them. So they're still there. It's a handy thing, you know, to have ornamentals growing with the food crops, because you can chop at them to make stick mulch for the food crops. The dragon fruits have been flowering nicely. Quite a bit set here. Looking good, huh? Ooh, look at all the green flowers on that side. Beautiful. So, 8 days ago, I put these bait stations out here. I loaded each one of them with 3 bait bars. I have 4 stations. I came back to check 6 days later. All 12 bait bars were completely devoured. I turned around and I replaced them all a couple of days ago. Now I just checked them again, and there is no more sign of activity here. So it looks like the bait did its work. Boy, oh boy, they liked it, because they come in and they just gobbled it up. They didn't leave a bit. And I know where these rats are coming from, too. It's this old 19th century coffee shack next door over here. I remember I had inspected the place years ago when it was up for sale, and the realtor had referred to it as a fixer-upper, and I told her that's a burner-downer, because the thing just stunk of rats. Oh, God, it was awful. 2 of the previous owners have asked me about the smell and the stains on the place. And I've told them, man, you got a rat infestation over here. Well, apparently those rats are the ones that are feeding on my passion vines. My passion vines are right there behind us. And so it's pretty much a beeline from that old shack over. There's nobody in it most of the time. California owner. He shows up every 6 months or so, hangs out there for a while. Unfortunately, it's really going to stink now, because I just poisoned all them rats. It is only the people, the control rats, that temporarily might not have them. All of the people that think they don't have rats are usually the ones that are breeding them. This is a fact. I've watched that over and over and over. You know, as you see in this case, I've been poisoning the neighbor's rats for him because he's not working with them. And so they come over here, they feed on my stuff, I kill them, but they go back home where they were living and they die there, unfortunately. And I've been in this situation before. When I lived in California, I had a problem with rats that were getting into the stuff in my attic, getting at old pillows and things like that, and kind of harvest the junk for bedding, mostly was what they were doing. They're gnawing holes and stuff. And I had pretty well wiped out every rat that lived within our landscape. And so these were commuting in And I was walking by the neighbor's house and noticed that there was a rat hole dug underneath the foundation of her house. And so when she was out one day, I came up and I said, "Oh, by the way, you know, that's a rat hole and you guys got a rat infestation." "Oh, no, 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 we don't have rats." This is the usual answer that I'll get. And I go, okay, I don't argue with people. But unfortunately, I will control the rats, and I knew where they were, and so the simplest way for me to deal with this, since she didn't believe she had them, was for me to bait them in my attic. And so I baited the rats, and I knew they were not going to die in my house because they were living in hers. And so I came home a few days later from work, and here's my neighbor. She's inside her house, and on the inside of the screens she has hundreds of black blowflies. She's trying to fan them out of the house. And as I come by, she goes, "Bill, you have any idea why I have all these flies inside my house?" And I said, "Well, yeah, you remember when I told you about the rats that you didn't have?" She says, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I poisoned them." And so they went home and they died in your walls where they weren't living, you know. Well, she freaked out, shut up, started fanning flies, and never said another word to me as long as I lived. You know, people who don't have rats don't have rats. So here's a case where I'm dumbfounded, though. I did not believe there could have been that many rats. I've never seen 12 bait bars disappear that rapidly without a crumb. That was an army living next door, and hopefully it's dead now. Anyway, so here in the nursery, my next project is going to be weeding the flower pots. All the stuff that Joe and I transplanted is looking dynamite here, really good. But unfortunately, I got weeds in these flower pots, unbelievable. It's mostly this stupid groundsel here. The stuff comes in the planting mix, and it kind of ticks me off. It should be weed free, but it's not. And it's loaded with this cress, and it's also loaded with oxalis. And now I am going to have to go through my whole blasted nursery and pull these things out one at a time. I'm not happy about it. Well, the corn and beans are growing really good over here now, as you can see. Yesterday I came through here, and with the 400,000 BTU weed flamer, I got rid of a whole bunch of Miley Pilau vine that was growing here around the edges of the weed block. No hurricanes today, no lava to report. It's peaceful here on the Big Island, and that's about all there is to say in the garden today. Stick mulches, the rats ate all the bait, and the corn's growing great. Aloha, hang loose.